this agreement is going to be predicated on good faith. It's going to depend on the building of trust between both sides. Now, that means the Scottish Government is going to have to recognise that they can't put the Greens into impossible positions, and it's going to give the Greens the responsibility to make sure that what we're arguing for, what we're demanding within government, is achievable and deliverable, that we're not asking for the impossible, but we're showing how change can be made possible. So both sides are going to have to work together. If there's good faith, if there's trust building, and if both sides work in the spirit of this agreement as well as to the letter of it, then it's going to be extremely successful. But yeah, if either side, the SNP or the Greens, decide that we're going to just demand impossible things from the other side, then it will fall apart and the agreement would end at that point. I don't think that will happen. I think there is a good degree of trust that's been built up in the process of negotiating this, and I think there's a great deal of enthusiasm for making this work.
Cooperation and collaboration in place of division and acrimony is, in my view and indeed my experience, what most people want to see much more of from their politicians. It is also essential if we are to find the solutions needed to solve the problems confronting the world today. And of course, that spirit of cooperation and consensus building is very much in keeping with the founding principles of the Scottish Parliament. Our parties will, of course, retain our distinctive identities. This is not a coalition, and we do not agree on everything, but we are coming out of our comfort zones to focus on what we do agree on. Despite all of the risks inherent in any decision of two parties to cooperate more closely, we are choosing to work together. And we are doing so not out of political necessity, but for the common good.
This is indeed a historic moment. This deal would see the Greens entering government for the first time ever in Scotland or anywhere in the UK. And it couldn't come at a more important time. The last 18 months have been an incredibly difficult time for us all. And as we seek to rebuild our lives and our economy, we really must seek to do things differently. We must build a fairer, compassionate country. And we must do everything in our power to tackle the climate and nature emergencies and deliver a just transition for all of Scotland. And that's what this deal will do. It means that our parties will be working together to deliver a bold and ambitious programme to deliver a green recovery from COVID, a new deal for tenants, and a fundamental change in approach on transport. It will put two Green ministers into the heart of government, advocating for the climate and for a fairer, greener Scotland. But fundamentally, it's also a new approach to politics. The SNP and the Scottish Greens are different parties. We agree on some things, disagree on others, and those distinctive voices can and will remain. That's why this isn't a coalition in the traditional sense, but that mustn't mean that we can't cooperate for the good of the people of Scotland, our climate, and our environment. To work together where we've got common ground, challenge each other to deal with disagreements constructively, and yes, to deliver a referendum on independence when we emerge from the pandemic, as both of our parties pledged to do in the recent campaign.